Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Student, can you hear me? My voice is clear? Just write yes or no. Okay. Thank you very much. I start my lecture. Assalamu alaikum. I am Mrs. Nilofer Ijaz, your biology teacher. Hope you all are fine and safe at home. Now, today you are on lecture number 2 from chapter number 1. In the previous lecture, we discussed about what is biology, how many classes of biology are there, what were the main branches of biology, and we also discussed the Quranic verses about the origin of life. Then we discussed about the biological methods. Now today our topic is Muslim biologists and their contribution. Muslims have made important contribution in the field of biology in the earlier age. Some very important Muslim scientists you can see on your screen. Jabir ibn Hayyan, Abdul Malik Asma'i, Al-Jahiz, Ali bin Rabban Tubari, Al-Farabi, Ibn al-Hasham, Bu Ali Sina, etc. Now I am going to talk about their contribution, what they contributed to the biology. First of all, Jabir bin Hayyan. His time period was 722 till 817 AD. He wrote many books named Al-Nabatat and Al-Hawan on plants and animals respectively. This is the contribution of Jabir bin Hayyan. Second one, Abdul Malik Asma'i. His time period was 741 AD. He wrote books Al-Khair, Al-Abil, Al-Wahush, Asha, and Khaliqul Insan, describing structure and function of body parts of horses in Al-Khair, camels in Al-Abil, sheep, Asha, Al-Wahush, wild animal, Khaliqul Insan, that is the human being. Khaliqul Insan was popular among the Western experts in zoology. He was regarded a specialist of his time. Another biologist, Ali bin Ruban Tubri, his time period was 775 till 870 AD. He wrote books, Firdaus Hikmah, having many illustrations and detailed articles on philosophy, zoology, psychology, and astronomy. Al-Jahiz wrote a book, Al-Hawan, which described characteristics of 350 species of animals, especially about the life of ants. चींटी के बारे में 350 आर्टिकल्स या उनकी इंफॉर्मेशन या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक उन्होंने बताए. Al-Farabi, his time period was 870 till 950 AD. Al-Jahiz, Abdul Qasim al-Zaharwi were the well-known Hakim and surgeon of the Islamic world. Al-Farabi is the author of two very well-known books, that is Kitab-i Nabatat and Kitabul Haywanat. And Zaharwi was famous for the removal of urinary bladder from the urinary bladder stone, that is the stone from the urinary bladder. स्टूडेंट, यहाँ पर मैं एक बात आपसे शेयर करना चाहूंगी, वो ये कि जो भी किताब का नाम है आपको एज इट इज लिखना है. जैसे किताबे नबातात है और किताबुल नबातात है, तो you should be very careful when you are writing their contribution, because we cannot change the title of their book. Next is Ibnul Hasham. His time period was 965 till 1039 AD. He wrote many books in chemistry and in bio and physics also. He wrote books like Kitabul Manazir and Mizanul Hikmah. He explained the phenomena of vision and correct the Greek conception about the vision. Next is Abu Ali Sina. His time period was 980 AD. He wrote books like Al-Qanun and Fil Tib al-Shifa about plants, animals, and non-living things. He is considered as one of the founder of medicine, acknowledged by the greatest expert of his time in the medicine in East and West. यानी मशरिक में भी मगरिब में भी उनकी एक बड़ी इज्जत थी और एक एक्सपर्ट की तरह उनको माना जाता था. There are some other scientists included in your book, and no doubt their contribution is very great, like Ibn Nafis. He described first time the process of blood circulation. Kamaluddin al-Darmi, he compiled a book, Hayatul Haywan, deals with the characteristics of 1000 kinds of animals. Ali bin Isa, he was known as eye specialist of his time, and he worked on structure, function, and diseases of the eye. He wrote 3 volumes on this subject, in which he described 130 diseases of the eyes. Now see, it is very easy for us today. If we've got any problem of eye, kidney, urine, we go to the doctor or the specialist and they give us a treatment. But they are the Muslim biologists, and this is their contribution, which is I am sharing with you. At that time, they work very hard. There are some pictures. I like to share the picture of Al-Farabi. You can see on your screen. I searched a lot and I found these pictures. Al-Farabi, He was the surgeon and Hakim of that time. Ibnul Hasham, he wrote the book Kitabul Manazir and Mizanul Hikmah. Abdul Malik Asma'i, his contribution is Al-Khail, Al-Abil, Al-Wahush, Al-Shah, and Khaliqul Insan. Now next is Jabir bin Hayyan. Jabir bin Hayyan, his contribution name is Firdausul Hikmah. Now come to the next topic. I think this must be now clear to all of you. Non-Muslim scientists and their contribution. Non-Muslim contribution after the 15th century. After the 15th century, Europe and other biologists made important contribution in the field of biology. Number one, you can share William Harvey. His time period 1578 till 1657 AD. He described the circulation of blood. Before William Harvey, Ibn Nafis in the 13th century, he described the circulation of blood and he made some more points in the circulation of the blood. Next scientist is Galileo. His time period was 1610. He invented a microscope to explain a small organism. Up till that period, microorganisms were not known to the scientists. After the invention of microscope, they examined very small organisms which they cannot see through their eyes, naked eyes. They examine under the microscope. Next one is Robert Hooke. His time period is 1665. He discovered cell, the basic unit of living organism. What do you mean by a basic unit of living organism? Every organism which is alive, which is a living organism, it is composed of a basic structure. That structure he termed as cell. Each and every cell has three main parts. They must have an outer membrane, that is the cell membrane. Inside, they must have a liquid, he termed as cytoplasm, and there must be a solid ball-like structure, that is the nucleus. When these three things are present, that is cell membrane, cytoplasm, and the nucleus, it means three basic units are present and that organism is a living organism. Whether it is made up of only one cell or it is made up of more than one cell. Next one is Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke, I told you, next one is the Linneans. His time period is 1707 to 1778 AD. He developed method of classification for organism, gave a nomenclature, and therefore called the father of taxonomy. As I told you earlier, what is taxonomy? Taxonomy is a branch of biology in which we deals with the description, classification, naming, identification of an object, its relation with its own kind, species, and this naming and this system was given by Linnaeus. Next one is Louis Pasteur. His time period is 1822 till 1900, 1822 till 1895. I am doing my correction. 1822 till 1895. Louis Pasteur, he discovered the bacteria as the cause of many diseases like tuberculosis. That he found out that many diseases, they are caused by an organism that is called bacteria. Next one is E. Jenner. Time period 1896. He discovered method of vaccination against smallpox. वैक्सीनेशन मेथड जो है वो ई जेनर ने डिस्कवर किया. I think no need to explain what is vaccination or what is the method of vaccination. Next one is Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin period is 1859. He wrote his famous book. His name was Origin of Species, about evolution of different species through natural selection. We have many species. Human beings are of different kinds. They are of different traits. Animals like horses, they are of different traits. Cow, goat, buffalo, everything have different species. Why they are different from one another? These things were described in his book that nature select the best one for the next generation. Next one is Watson and Crick. You are very familiar nowadays about DNA. Everywhere you know this word. You heard this word DNA. What is DNA? DNA is a genetic material. It is a material found in each and every individual inside the nucleus. Chromosomes are present. These chromosomes are thread-like structure. They are composed of DNA and protein. Now, how these DNA, they are present in the chromosome. Watson and Crick proposed a double helix model of DNA to explain the function of DNA and heredity. Beside these, there are some other scientists like J. Lister. He discovered antiseptic like iodine and carbolic acid. Nowadays we are using uh, tincture iodine, like that. Sheldon and Siobhan, there are two other scientists. Sheldon and Siobhan, they work on the detailed structure of plant and animal cell and finally formulated a cell theory. Now here are some pictures. Joseph Lister, he discovered antiseptic, this is pyodine, iodine, carbolic acid, etc. Charles Darwin, he wrote his famous book, Origin of Species, about evolution of different species through natural selection. Louis Pasteur, as I told you earlier, he discovered bacteria as a cause of many diseases like tuberculosis. Gregor Mendel, he gave his famous laws of heredity and laid foundation of genetics. His laws are Mendel's law of heredity, Mendel's law of dominance, Mendel's law of segregation, Mendel's law of independent assortment. Even he was not a scientist, he was a monk, but he did a great job in the field of genetics. Now I would like to tell you that write your personal ID and roll number on your chat box, then I can take your attendance in the last. Now come to the next topic, it is biogenesis and abiogenesis. Now what is biogenesis and abiogenesis? Abiogenesis. Abiogenesis is an old belief that living things can spontaneously develop from non-living things, is termed as abiogenesis. This was the idea of Aristotle. Aristotle thought that air, water, fire, they combine spontaneously and living things originate. This was the idea of Aristotle and it is termed as abiogenesis. Whenever there is the word A is written before any biological terms, its meaning is not or without. Abiogenesis means not biogenesis, यानी biogenesis नहीं होती. Bio means living thing. Now the second idea was biogenesis. The view that living beings can develop only from other living beings is called biogenesis. This idea was the idea of Redi. He was an Italian scientist. He says that life always comes from the pre-existing life. यानी जिंदगी जो है वो जिंदगी से ही वजूद में आती है. It is clear. Abiogenesis, Aristotle thought that the life is coming from non-living things like clay, fire, water. And the biogenesis means that the life is coming from pre-existing life. These are the scientific thoughts. But what Quran says, Allah Jalla Shanuhu फरमाता है, बदियुस समावाति वल अर्द, कि अल्लाह ताला क्रिएट करता है जो वो चाहता है. जमीन और आसमानों को क्रिएट करने वाला अल्लाह ताला है. Is it clear? Biogenesis and abiogenesis is very important topic. It is very short topic, but it is very important topic from the examination point of view. Now come to the next topic. The view that living beings can develop only from other living beings is called biogenesis. Reddy performed experiment and which led to the conception of biogenesis. His experiment was, he did so many experiments. I am sharing the basic experiment, the one which was the first experiment. After that, he got many objections, and in the reply of that objection, he did other experiment. I am talking about the basic experiment, what he did. Some dead snakes were placed in a box. It was noticed that flies gathered around the dead snake. After 3 days, maggots appeared in their body. After 3 days. After 18 days, these maggots transferred into the pupa, and after 8 days, from these pupa, fly emerged out. It was concluded that maggots were the offspring of the fly. This is the experiment of the Reddy. Now the next topic is Needham experiment. Needham was an English scientist. He boiled some meat in water and poured in the bottle and closed their mouth with cork. His observation, after few days, many microorganisms were produced in the covered bottle. Conclusion, it was concluded that life comes from the non-living thing. That is the life from non-living thing. This is the experiment of the Needham. Now, thank you for joining the class. Now, if you have any question, you can ask me. You can unmute yourself.